Uh, yeah. Uh, Someone freestyle because I'm not good at that. I'm not good at freestyle.
I think someone's
I'm not
delayed,
either.
so I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it, but I'll do it next
Mm.
time. Though. Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Shot of Sports. I'm your host right now, Nazir Spencer, because everyone else doesn't want to get on. But these guys with me right now, Sam Strash and Chris Bittner,
Mm-hmm.
the real OGs, the real dubs in the
Mm-hmm.
chat. Welcome back. We're going to be talking some college football because we got some news in the coaching realm. We got some Thanksgiving football that we're going to go over, and we got some MLB free agency, hot stuff that Sam, decided to bring to our attention. I know we're a little bit past MLB season, but it's always fun to go back and kind of figure out what's going to happen for next season. But before we get to all that, please go subscribe, hit the like button, go to our Twitter, our YouTube, obviously that you're watching on, go to our Instagram, our TikTok, all that fun stuff that we have to continue to post on because we've been lazy about it. But we're gonna get back to it. Don't worry about it. And how'd you guys weekend? How's you guys Thanksgiving? Real quick before we get into our first topic.
It was
It was
great.
good,
It
man.
was great seeing all the family again. A lot of good food, a lot of good time. Just don't get to see everyone as often anymore. Living in Illinois, so it was good to hang out with everyone again. I actually got trapped in Kenosha an extra day. I was supposed to leave Friday night, and my parents were like, no, why don't you just stay around one more night? Let's go to this restaurant. Let's hang out. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And then the buddies were like, let's go out tonight. So I went out, and then sure enough, I wake up to already like 5 inches of snow on the ground. So I got trapped in Kenosha for an extra like 36 to 48 hours. But I wouldn't take it back for anything. I mean, it was a great time hanging out with everyone. I don't get to see everyone as often. So it was a good time.
Yeah, pretty much same here. Got to see family, friends. Going back to work tonight. Got some extra time off last week, which was awesome. Just being able to finally catch back up on sleep because Nolan knows this too. When you work third shift, you kind of just take what you can get, and sometimes it's not a lot.
Well, my Thanksgiving was pretty fun. Got to see a lot of family, friends, and hang out with some people that I usually haven't seen in a while. Like Sam said, but everyone goes out to a different destination after Thanksgiving, which kind of sucks, but it's all good. But speaking of going to a different destination, Lane Kiffin, he chooses a new home, and it is very interesting. Now, I want to just go over this quickly because I'm just confused on the choice on why now, and how this impacts the incoming recruits maybe from his team that he was just on, and now he's going to what, LSU. I mean, that's just, it's a little weird, man. It's kind of exposing a little bit of the background of college football right now. The NIL deals are going to be different. The transfers are going to be different. It's just when you recruit somewhere and you can decommit anytime. I mean, it's kind of detrimental to the school that he was already coaching, and now he's going to go to LSU and be, what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be a little bit different. It's a little weird, and it exposes a lot of people. But I want to
College
hear your thoughts.
football college football was initially created to establish loyalty, right? You have loyalty to your university. That's what creates these massive rivalries, these Ohio State versus Michigans, these A&M versus Texas, the Red River rivalry at one point as well. So Florida State, like these rivalries are established because there's some sense of pride that you have for having loyalty towards your school, towards your alma mater, right? I mean, for all intents and purposes, like I would never cheer for the Lacrosse Eagles. Okay, I assume neither of you would either. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're loyal to the school. I've been at the school for 6 years now, so there is no loyalty anymore. As soon as as soon as the money started flowing in college football, loyalty was dismantled. There's no longer any loyalty in college football. They're all 1-year contracts if you're lucky, right? It's all 1-year deals because people are going to just where they can get the most money. That's not what NIL was intended for. But now to get to the meat and potatoes of this with Lane Kiffin, I'm going to put it this way. If I got offered a 25% pay raise. That because he was at what 225K. Now he's going up to like 270 or something like that. So you got about a 25% pay raise to go somewhere else, stay in the same profession, but you're going somewhere else with more resources and a larger chance to win. Who says no to that? In their right mind, who says no to that? And Lane Kiffin, and for the business side of things, is making the right decision for himself and his family to be able to go to a place with more resources. He's going to get paid more, and he's going to a team that's historically successful in LSU, and they want to get back to the days of Ed Orgeron and Joe Burrow. They want to get back to that. They know Lane Kiffin's a good recruiter. They know Lane Kiffin is a very talented coach, especially in the college ranks. The NFL didn't really work out for him, obviously, with the Raiders, but he's a very talented coach. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He's very offensive-minded. And that's what LSU brands itself on, is offense. Offense. They have for so long. They have for forever, right? This is a match made in heaven for Lane Kiffin. But I'll talk more about the optics of this in a second. I'll let Chris go.
I was going to say the optics are definitely the worst part of this.
Oh, terrible.
From a business standpoint, I understand why he did this. At Ole Miss, they're historically a middle to bottom tier SEC team. He's made them into a perennial contender year in and year out. He sent more players to the NFL from the school than probably any coach in the past 60, 70 years, something like that. I mean, he's done great things for the school, but the optics and on the business side too, like you said, it's a better opportunity for recruiting, better opportunity to just bring in better players. The culture is a bit more established than it is down in Oxford. So it makes sense on that side of things. And I understand why he'd want to make this move. However, optically, this looks terrible. He probably, I would say he probably had this decision made for a couple of weeks, at least. Like, it seemed pretty inevitable that this was going to happen. He's going to get the most money in college football, which Ole Miss would have also offered. The thing that really looks bad, though, is how he tried to still coach the playoff for Ole Miss while also accepting this job. Like, I just don't understand how that would be possible. Like, it just doesn't really make sense to me. Like, how you're literally the coach of LSU and you're still trying to coach for Ole Miss. Like, if this was the case, you shouldn't have accepted the job right away. And I think that's why things got so messy with Ole Miss, is he was trying to do something that clear he should have no capabilities to do.
Real quick, I just want to know, like, what has Lane Kiffin done and why is he able to do stuff like this? He got ousted at a USC. Before that, he was even getting fired from places. The most memorable one for me is USC. He went somewhere after that, went to Ole Miss.
Florida Atlantic. He
was great at Florida Atlantic.
He was good there, but that's a smaller tier school, and then he goes to another big tier school. Then what?
Question almost that I have too. Like, he's turned around Ole Miss from a mid team to one of the better teams in the SEC, one of the better programs, and they were very adaptive with their NIL thing as well, with how they've really gone after it in the transfer portal in the last couple of years and taken advantage of that. But at the same time, he turned this basically into like a LeBron decision. Like, if you guys think about it,
I don't think that's like a good thing now.
At the end of the day, he made this all about him. And like, this team is preparing to play in the college football playoff in the next month or so, potentially even hosting a game. Like, at the end of the day, like, he is a good coach, but he's not Nick Saban.
He's not like a table turner, though. He doesn't know.
He's not Kirby Smart. Like, he's good. I would say he's in the A tier. I just don't know if he's in the S tier. And he made this like decision all about him. He held two schools basically hostage for the better part of a couple months. Like, this entire like social media thing that he does, and that's part of his brand, I guess. But like, the whole time he was joking about coming back for year 7 and all this stuff only to leave. Like, it just doesn't make sense optically for him to do what he did.
No, it doesn't. And I don't know if it's really Lane Kiffin's fault, though. And just hear me out on this, because it's not Lane Kiffin's. He's not the first guy to do this in a mid-season kind of way, right? And granted, it's not even really mid-season. The regular season's over. We're in the conference championship week. Army-Navy game is in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then we start with the bowl games, right? So it's not even that it's Lane Kiffin's fault that he's doing this. This has happened many times before. This is the NCAA's fault that they're letting stuff like this slide. It even goes to like when Luke Fickell did it. He left Cincinnati and they're having a good season, comes to Wisconsin and just sits and watches the bowl game, doesn't even coach it, right? And obviously, a new coach isn't going to start coaching in just one bowl game correctly. I mean, that would be ridiculous for a coach to try and do that, right? To change the identity of a team, to change how they play, to change their playbooks, and go all in on one bowl game, right? But this is a product of the NCAA's incompetence, allowing coaches to leave and get hired mid-season and start coaching elsewhere, especially if you're coming from a team as successful as Ole Miss in recent years. Ole Miss was going to be a playoff team this year. Ole Miss was probably going to win in the first round of the playoff. You don't allow this to happen if you're the NCAA. I don't care what the money is. I don't care what the ratings say. You don't allow this to happen. The coaches, if there was a genuine want to finish out the season for Lane Kiffin, this should have never been even talked about until after the season. Leave for LSU the first day after you lose, if this is the case. But the NCAA should not have allowed moves like these to happen in the first place, point blank period.
Well, yeah, we'll continue to monitor that situation going forward. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's a bad look for college football, but we can discuss that, later on.
That's a whole other can of worms that we could, or a rabbit hole that we could just fall down.
Yeah. We'll make it a bigger topic once college football starts to get into the playoff mode. Lane Kiffin going to LSU. But next on our list right here is the cooked and baked list. This is a big one. Thanksgiving weekend. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving weekend, of course, but a lot of teams did not have a good Thanksgiving weekend, and we're going to get to that right here. And there's a special, before we even get to anything, I just want to say this about, go to Giannis's Instagram. He has deleted all tweets back to July of 2021, and there aren't any more Bucks-related stuff on his Instagram. I'm just saying. He might be out of here now after.
I mean, I'm going to touch on this in final thoughts too, but
yeah, it's looking ugly. It's looking ugly. Let's just say that. But we're going to start here with the cooked, baked Thanksgiving edition, baked Thanksgiving Day. Okay, this is the Thanksgiving Day. Okay, if you're baked, you're safe. Mahomes had a great day. I thought he played amazing. One of the best throws I've seen him make to Xavier Worthy down the field, veering right and throwing back left, and Xavier Worthy is open in the middle. To get them in the red zone. I thought that was one of his best throws. I don't even like Mahomes like that, but that was a really good throw. He had a great game, but they lost. Pickens and CD. I mean, they are the best wide receiver duo. CD was destroying their corners all day. They couldn't do anything without penalizing him. But that's just what you're going to get against that team. And Dak Prescott, as your quarterback, is going to help you get into that position of getting that penalty every single time. Kareem Hunt had a good game. I love Kareem Hunt. One of my favorite running backs since 2018. Pretty much, he's a great running back. I love him outside of his off the court issues. Rashee Rice had a good game. Don't like him very much, but he had a good game. Jordan Love, going to your guys' direction a little bit. Jordan Love had a great Thanksgiving Day. I think he's 3-0 Thanksgiving Day now.
Toyota-thon.
Oh yeah, and then legacy games for Dontayvion Wicks. I think he can be a smaller Devontae Adams if he gets himself really corrected. I think he has the ability to do so. He's very physical,
It's exactly how you profiled coming out of Virginia. That's exactly how you profiled. And the career arcs are actually taking very similar directions, right? Wicks has had issues with dropping the ball in the past. He's had issues with underperforming, especially as a slot receiver, which the Packers historically love their slot receivers. Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams when he first started, and now Dontayvion Wicks. In the last 2 years, it was Romeo Doubs. So Dontayvion Wicks, he has got potential to be like a Costco Devontae Adams for sure. I don't mean any disrespect by that because Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams, but Dontayvion Wicks has potential to be a very good wide receiver.
Yeah, he's amazing. I thought he was going to be, great coming out of college, and Christian Watson kind of, is taking the mantle of the number one wideout, the number one option right now. But Wicks, Wick's healthy, man. I don't know, man. You guys have another wide receiver injured.
I mean, Jaden Reed and Golden
Yeah,
are
Reed.
both probably coming back this weekend too. So
Wide
I don't
receiver.
know.
they're
I
gonna have
like Wicks.
more or less the full complement of receivers against Chicago.
Yeah, that'll be a good game too. We'll get to that in a little bit. JMO, without St. Brown in the game, put up like 170 yards and 10 catches. His breakout game, even though they lost.
Breakout game.
Yeah, absolutely. He was catching and destroying everybody. Yeah, and I think it's kind of annoying that the Lions coaching staff, Dan Campbell specifically, are just not realizing that their real number one wide receiver is JMO. I've been saying that for years. But yeah, Christian Watson had a great game, destroyed everyone on the street routes like he usually does. Aiden Hutchinson had a great game. He's very scary. Micah Parsons.
Aiden Hutchinson did not have a great game, Nas.
No, he didn't. Oh, he looked good to me. He was causing a lot of pressures to me, but
I think Zach Town handled him pretty well in that game.
He stopped the run a lot. I mean, Josh
maybe it's a personal disagreement here, but I didn't think he was fantastic, and a lot of Lions fans didn't think so either.
I don't think he had a good passing rush day, but in the run game, he was limiting Josh Jacobs and Wilson a little bit more than usual. But that's just me. Joe Burrow,
Micah Parsons, though.
Micah Parsons is a game changer. Great pickup. I'm still shocked Jerry got rid of him, but their defense is doing fine right now. Joe Burrow, welcome back. that was gross. I don't know even what to say to that. Jamar Chase didn't score, but still had a great game. Chase Brown had a good running game of over 100 yards. Didn't score, I don't think, but had just turned the tables a little bit, helped Joe Burrow out a little bit in the run game. Derrick Henry had a good game. Outside of who else didn't have a good game. We'll get to that in a second. But Jake Ferguson had a great game, tight end wise. He looked good. Caleb Williams didn't have the greatest game, but he won. He helped them win the game. We'll get to him in a little bit as well. DeAndre Swift had a great game, and the rookie bareback, I forget his name, McGonomy or whatever his name is. The Bears corners also had a great game. Besides guarding AJ Brown, everyone else couldn't do anything because Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball for some reason sometimes. AJ Brown and Smith had a good game. I think Smith had a decent game. AJ Brown had a great game. But that's it for the big Thanksgiving day and Black Friday, obviously. But moving on to, let's see if I get this one right. This is right. Well, hold on. Whoa. Hold on. Wait. Let me find it. Nope. Let me find it. Whatever. We're just gonna go for this one. Lamar Jackson on Thanksgiving. Trash. Just horrible. The Chiefs organization. Trash. John Harbaugh on the Ravens. Trash. Jared Goff. Oof. He looked a little scared out there. Wasn't playing like he usually does. Gibbs was just couldn't do anything. St. Brown got injured, but he wasn't doing anything anyways. Josh Jacobs was kind of mid. Packers tight end spot. Need to. I know you lost your guy, but got to figure that out. Zay Flowers and Bateman, just pathetic excuses of wide receivers in this time of year. Kelsey scored but dropped everything else. Wasn't impressed. Jalen Hurts decided to play, dirt ball. Don't know why. Don't know what's going on with him. Saquon Barkley and the O-line. Nick Sirianni and the OC aren't helping them very much, but Saquon Barkley is trying his best to break open, but it's just not happening. Eagles defense got outplayed. I think Saquon has the Madden curse right now. I think this happens every time someone's on the Madden cover. They either play.
Am I crazy to say this? That I've seen Nick Sirianni as the coach of the Eagles since I think 2021. He's been to 2 Super Bowls and countless other playoffs, and I still don't know whether he's a good coach or not.
Yeah, that's not crazy.
All right. I think he's a pretty good coach.
He doesn't play call. He doesn't run the defense. Like he's just Dan Campbell.
Moral support. He's moral support.
He's an organizer, is what I like to call it. But I don't know. I think he's fine. I just think he needs to learn a little bit more football. But that's just me. But that's the baked list for Thanksgiving Day and Black Friday. But we'll get to our regular baked list now. That's Holy Cooked. That's there's the regular baked list. Woo, Bryce Young. Oh my God. I've been trying to tell you guys. Look, they're 6-6 now. They're 500.
7-6.
7-6 now. My bad. They're above 500. in the playoff hunt right now, looking to take the division from the Buccaneers. I'm trying to tell you, I've been saying this for months, for a year now. No, everyone thought I was crazy. Bryce Young is better than CJ Stroud. I'm going to continue to say that. I don't care what any of you say. Bryce Young is better. If you look at Bryce the past few weeks, besides last Monday when he plays the 49ers, even when, I mean, playing against a solid defense is kind of just hard. But Bryce Young, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Bryce Young. Devontae Adams and Puka. Devontae has 14 touchdowns and like 600 yards. I don't know how that's possible, but he does. Puka Nacua, one-handed catch put you on here, buddy. I mean, you were torching a little bit, but that one-handed catch solidified your spot on the baked list this week. CMC, historic things he's doing this year. Just scoring every game, and I think he leads the league in reception somehow. Don't know how it's possible, but it's true. Drake May. Josh Allen, kinda. He's all right. James Cook. Oh, congratulations, Josh Allen, for breaking the all-time quarterback rushing record for touchdowns. James Cook had a good game. Herbert, welcome back. Even though your left hand's broken, I think he'll be fine though. Chargers O-line looked pretty good, but we played the Raiders, so I'm not going to give you the full pass. Quentin Johnston, Lad McConkey, Max Crosby had a great game. Shedeur Sanders, look, he did all he could do against a solid defense, better than Gabriel would have done. I'll tell you that much. But Shedeur Sanders this week, you're still baked. Myles Garrett, of course, gets a sack or two every game. Big Cock Brock, Bowers, and Purdy. What a great game those two had. Juwan Jennings. Whew, it's kind of nice. I ain't gonna lie. I think one of the better wideouts. Baker, I guess. Bucky Irving, welcome back from injury. He looked pretty good. Trevor Lawrence. Sam, anything about Trevor Lawrence?
Dog. He's a dog. The Jaguars in general. Yeah, the Jaguars in general, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If they beat the Colts this week, they are a true contender. What Liam Cohen has been able to do with a team that on paper is as weak as they are, granted the defense is great, but as weak as they are on paper, what Liam Cohen has been able to do, especially offensively, the Jaguars should not be taken for granted going forward, especially if they beat Indianapolis this week. I know Indianapolis is on a skid, but man, those dudes are legit. That team is legit. Liam Cohen has been the biggest hit all season outside of Mike Vrabel in terms of head coaching hires this past year.
Ben Johnson?
Liam Cohen's a bigger hit than that. I think Liam Cohen's a bigger hit. The Bears have a more talented team on paper than the Jaguars. They do. I think Ben Johnson has been able to do roughly the same stuff with the Bears roster that Liam Cohen has done with the Jags roster. Liam Cohen, he's been the second biggest hit outside of Mike Vrabel.
I don't know, bro. Ben Johnson has the one seed.
Ben
right
Johnson
now.
is working miracles, man.
I'm just saying, Ben
Bears
Johnson
have
has
a
the
more
one seed
talented
right now.
roster.
Yeah, defensively for sure. Offense is kind of the same in my opinion, but I don't know. Ben Johnson has the one seed right now, bro. I'm just saying, kind of I don't know, but whatever. Trevor Lawrence had a
Jags are
great game.
3, they're close.
I don't think they'll get it though. Colts aren't really looking like a contender, but we'll get to that in a minute. CJ Stroud was all right. Jacoby Myers, big fan of Jacoby Myers. I'm a huge fan.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that he was a Raider,
Yep.
but now that he's a Jaguar, he can actually, explode a little
move.
bit. No Travis Hunter the rest of the year. Jacoby Myers can do whatever he wants. Tony Pollard, he was all right. On the side, playing how he's supposed to play. 10 carries, 70 yards, something like that. JT, Jonathan Taylor, kind of, man. Daniel Jones. I mean, he's wobbly, man. He can't do anything anymore. He can't run. It kind of sucks. Texans defense. I think they're the best defense in the league. I think behind the Broncos, maybe in front. I don't know. Devon A-Chain looked amazing. Tyler Shuck.
I'd put Seattle's defense up there too.
Yeah. I mean, they play the Vikings, but we'll get to that. Vele and Olave. Whew, they look pretty good. Look like a good duo out there for Shuck. Bijan and Kirk Cousins. Hate watching them play, but they play pretty good. Breece Hall, of course, and of course, Coker, McMillan, and Hubbard on the Panthers, and Blake Corum. Wow. And Kyron Williams. That's it for our baked list. Now we're going to get to quickly the cooked list, the holy cooked list, because we're in the Thanksgiving holy era right now. Kevin Stefanski for obvious reasons. I'm not impressed with the Broncos. Sorry, they just went to OT with Marcus Mariota. Mariota threw some bullshit the entire game. Wasn't impressed with them, obviously, but Jaden Daniels, man, you're not in the playoffs this year. You're 3-9 now, buddy. Gotta stay healthy. Gotta put some meat on your bones. You're a little small. Jackson Dart, I think he likes concussions. I don't think he cares. He said a comment last night, we're not playing soccer out here. Well, yeah, but you got to keep yourself. You're the franchise quarterback now.
Let's keep him in the league for more than 4 years. Him and Scadoo are on pace to be out at the same time.
Yeah, you and Scatter, you don't care about your heads. I think that you kind of need it to play football, but whatever. A-Rod and Mike Tomlin, I think it's time to move on from Mike.
I'm going to take a victory lap here really quick. I said that Mike Tomlin had run his course a couple of weeks ago, and no one believed me. I thought that Pittsburgh wasn't going to get any better in the spot that they're in right now. Like, this is what they're going to be if they keep Mike Tomlin around. I think it's time to cut bait with him. Now, is he going to get scooped up, and do I think he's still a good coach? Yes. I just don't think it's working in Pittsburgh anymore. I think they need to start fresh.
Look, A-Rod went on to the media and called out the wide receivers like he usually does. But this time, I'm kind of on his side. DK is nowhere to be found, as you can see on the cooked list as well. I mean, he's relying on Calvin Austin, who is like a nobody really on that team. I mean, it's just he can't really do anything. Like, the wide receivers are clearly showing they don't care. And DK Metcalf is making this George Pickens trade look like the fleece of the century with the way he's playing and not being able to get open. And he's just not a good wide receiver right now, man. And George Pickens is making it clear, like, hey, the Steelers do this to everybody. They did it to me. They were holding me back. And now that I'm here in Dallas, look at me now. I'm one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the league. So, look, I just DK Metcalf. Aaron Rodgers is right, but A-Rod, you're not off the hook either. You played pretty horribly. Not really though. You got the league going into the half. It's just right off the bat in that second half, you're just cooked. Yeah. Geno Smith, trash. Raiders O-line, trash. I didn't think I'd see a worse O-line than the Chargers, but the Raiders kind of beat that out this week. Max Brosmer, the reincarnation of 9. When I was 9, I turned 12. So that's kind of how I look at it. Max Brosmer, Minnesota legend, I guess. The Seahawks didn't play that good. Sorry. I know they played the Vikings. They only won 26-0. They only scored 1 touchdown or something like that, or maybe 2, but not impressive in my opinion. JJ McCarthy for still being in the league. His terribleness is rubbing off on the Vikings. Justin Jefferson, not your fault, man, but you got to do something. I don't know. At one point, I think
he might be gone after this year. There's a chance.
I hope so. I don't look. I said this before we continue. I even said this in the chat the other day. Justin Jefferson, I know you thought you were going to be contending, but it was very clear that they're going to get rid of Sam Darnold. Okay, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and who was the other one that I was talking about? Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and TJ Watt, all dumb for staying on their teams. It's clear that they're not winning anything anytime soon. You don't want to be a part of a rebuild. I know it's a part of the money. I know, but you can't be up on the sideline looking upset about losing. You signed up for this, and you took all the money. So Justin Jefferson kind of cooked in that regard. Jerry Jeudy, I'm sick of this man. He has the most drops in the NFL, and he tried to get in Shadour's face about a ball that he stopped running on. I'm not with that, Jerry Jeudy. If you're gonna show all that compassion to Shadour, you should have did it with Dylan Gabriel, Deshaun Watson last year, and Joe Flacco this year. You should have did it with all of them. But whatever. Where's Kyler Murray? And Matt Stafford, you're not MVP anymore. Where's Kyler Murray? I don't know. Where's Kyler Murray?
Isn't he on IR?
I thought he was off by now. It's been
it's like a soft benching.
It's been 4 weeks. Am I tripping?
I think they've just
yet. It's a 4-week minimum, so it can be longer, but he's still on IR.
I was gonna say
he's been on IR for a lot longer than that. He's been on IR.
Played like 6 games.
He's missed 7 straight games.
I
But
think
the last 4 he's been on IR. The last 4.
I thought Jonathan Gannon came out and said they're just gonna roll with Jacoby, and Kyler's
Well,
just gonna kind of chill there.
Well, Kyler staying on IR is just keeping that extra roster spot open.
Call me crazy, bro, but if Kyler's on a different team, he's a top 10 quarterback. I think so. If he's on a different team and he's on like,
I think the
don't even know.
Vikings will make a
Orleans.
move for him this offseason.
New Orleans.
Ooh, that'd be kind of.
Both of those teams. I like both of
He's
them.
still young.
for
He's still
Kyler.
young.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
still what, 28?
Yeah.
He's
Hey,
younger than Tyler Shugg or whatever.
No,
I
he's
think
older than Tyler Shock.
Shuck is
It's gotta be
good.
close. It's gotta be
Put-
close.
Put Kyler in the NFC North. See what happens. I'm just saying. I don't know. They don't like mobile quarterbacks in the North. But Kyler Murray, I'm a big fan of yours, bro. But it's really hard to defend you right now. I don't know what the hell I'm watching with this Cardinals team, and you're not being a part of it. Rico Doodle, where are you? Rico Dowdle, of course. I call him Doodle when he's on the cooked list. They kind of took his starting spot away for Hubbard. I think it's going to change every game, maybe, depending on the team. The Falcons, trash. Lost to the Jets. Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore was a fever dream in last year on the Eagles. I mean, he was perfect for that role. But he saw that, the Saints were hiring and, the coaching opportunity. You get more money if you're the head coach. You got a lot more responsibility, though. As you can see, it's not working out very well because you
I don't think
Brandon
he's
Staley.
going to be a one and done, but he could be an early candidate to go next year.
I think he gets a pass this year. They don't have much. But Kamara needs to get traded. I don't know why he's still on the team. Taking up all the money. Colts downfall? I don't know. I'm not impressed with the Colts right now. I don't know how we really lost to them that bad, but the Colts are looking mighty weird right now. They lost Sauce Gardner for a couple weeks. Daniel Jones is hobbling around out there. The O-line looks a little weird. Not really. I mean, I guess they played one of the best defenses in the league, but like still, as the best O-line in the league, you should be able to do more than what they did last week. Cam Ward, you can't convince me that that Will Levis is worse than this guy. I think they're kind of the same. I know the team's bad, but oh, bro, Will Levis threw the same amount of games as Cam Ward. I think he had more stats with the same team, pretty much. I'm just saying.
I mean, this
like
organization is just tragic right now. They don't have a head coach. They don't have an offensive line.
Yeah,
they have no hope, really.
I'm not impressed. Yeah, Cam Ward, whatever. The Titans in general, like Chris just said, the organization is just bad. Caleb is also kind of cooked. He didn't play that great, but he got them to win, got them these critical first downs. But the run game was really the focus on that game. But Caleb, you can't play like that against this week. The game of the week is Packers-Bears. Okay. Now, I don't know what you guys thinking about that. I want to hit on that before we move on to our next topic with you guys. Before we, a little quick glance into the Sunday with the Bears and the Packers. But before we get to that, Zay Flowers again. Trash. That's our cooked and baked list for Thanksgiving edition. But real quick, guys, I gotta hear your opinion on Sunday and what should we expect from this Packers Bears rivalry, first matchup of the year. I need to hear it.
I think it's gonna be snooze fest, or it's gonna be everything that we're hoping it's going to be. Just a complete shootout, like massive plays every other drive. Star-studded action. I mean, it's either going to be one of the greatest games of the year, or it's going to be like 6-3 because it's in Lambeau and it's going to be really cold and it's probably going to snow this weekend again. So I think the Packers will have the edge here. I truly do. I think they're getting hot. They're ready to roll. And the Bears are just in too many really close games and have a lot of wins in the last few minutes, to where I think if Green Bay can just get way out ahead of them early in the first half, it'll be pretty much over from there.
I see. Do you guys remember the 2022 Vikings team that went like 12-0 in one-score games? I'm getting a bit of 2022 Vikings vibes from this Bears team. Not to say that they aren't good, because they've made a ton of progress. Ben Johnson deserves a ton of credit for getting them to win games that last year they would lose. Like that Raiders game, even early in the year, that Commanders game, the Vikings game a couple weeks ago. Those are games last year where they screw things up at the last minute and lose. And they aren't doing that this year. And you got to give them credit for that. However, like Sam said, Green Bay is getting hot right now. I said this before the season, and I'm going to stand by it. I think they split this year. I think the Packers win at Lambeau. I think the Bears win down in Chicago. I got Pack in this one, 27-19, somewhere along the lines of that. I think Chicago hangs with Green Bay. It's not a blowout by any sense of the word, but I think Green Bay just has a bit too much right now, and they're coming off 2 really big wins.
I've got, like I said, either 6-3, like it's going to be some stupid, like really low scoring game, or it's going to be the Packers win by 10-14. I've got 34-20.
34-20. Wow. Okay. Well,
like I said,
they
like
play
that
this week.
that high power, high scoring game. Like that's what I'm getting at. It's either going to be really garbage or it's going to be like scoring every other possession. And I think Green Bay is going to have the handle on it if it's like that.
I think this game's going to be a bit more like watchable than the Chicago game. I think the Chicago game is going to be a bit more of a scrum, ugly football, but this game I think is going to be a little bit more pristine, pretty, I guess is how I would put it.
Well, we'll talk about that more a little bit on Thursday as we look ahead to our next weekend of football. That was a fun little Thanksgiving edition that we just did. But now to move on to Sam's favorite topic of every show, MLB free agency, hot stove. This is we call it hot stove. This is Sam's thing right now.
Because the stove's getting hot. Because the stove's getting hot.
Free
right
agency. It's getting hot. Look, Sam Strash, everybody. Take it over, my boy. Let's talk a little bit MLB.
So, in lieu of Devin Williams signing a grossly overpaid contract last night with the New York Mets, I've wanted to do this for a couple weeks now because the winter meetings are coming up. The GM meetings just wrapped up a couple weeks ago, and we got to make some predictions here. We got to make some calls because especially next week is where things really start to heat up. A lot of trades and a lot of contracts get worked out next week and then slowly get processed as the weeks go by. But next week is where a lot of the stuff gets done. I'm not sure where the winter meetings are this year. I can look that up here in a second, but the winter meetings are getting close. We've each got a team that we're choosing with. We're making 3 moves today each. And I've got 2 teams just in case we have time. But here's the moves. You're going to call a lock. You're going to call a player to your team of choice that you think is a guarantee. Like this fills a position of need. It makes sense budget-wise. It's a match made in heaven. It's a lock. Then you're going to make a possibility or a probable, really, it's a probable call that this move makes sense. Maybe it's a little bit out of the budgetary constraints of your team, unless you have like the Yankees or the Mets. Like Chris is going to be taking the Mets, but maybe it's a little outside of the budget. Maybe it's a little bit of wishful thinking, but it's a probably. Like it makes sense if it happens. Like the fans would not be upset. And then you're going to make a dream call. You're going to make a call that would be like the perfect signing. Like it might not happen. It probably won't happen, but you're going to make the dream signing. Okay. Like this is in an ideal world, what your team would do. So Chris, let's start with you. You have the New York Mets. Give us your 3, your lock, your probable, and your dream.
Okay. So for lock, I think Edwin Diaz comes back. I think
okay.
even with Devin Williams signing last night, I don't see him as much in the closer role this year. I think Edwin Diaz comes back and fills that spot back up. Devin Williams is their setup guy. I think he's a lot better in the setup role. There's less pressure on him to perform. We've seen before that when the lights get the brightest, he struggles. Like in New York, he faced a lot of criticism last year. And in Milwaukee, when they needed him most in Game 3, he gave up a 3-run dong to Pete Alonso, and we lost.
To lose the game.
Yes, to lose the game and their season. So I think he fits better in the setup role. Now, the details of that contract, getting paid handsomely by the Mets we'll see. We'll see how that works. But I think Diaz comes back. I think for a wish, I'll go with Freddie Peralta, specifically because it's a Milwaukee connection. David Stern seems to like his Milwaukee guys. And I mean, that's just kind of like the Brewers could be looking to shed payroll, especially after Brandon Woodruff opted in. Plus, they're paying his buyout. That's $30 million that are going to go down the drain. I saw a report that Milwaukee might be trying to shed payroll again this offseason, which I don't agree with, obviously, as a Brewers fan. But if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do. And then I didn't really think too much about a dream for them, but I could see a couple different ways they go about things. I could see Mackenzie Gore or Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan hasn't been moved yet, has he?
No.
No, he's not. He's still a Twin.
I could see Joe Ryan being a dream for this
Yeah,
team
dude.
because it's
I wanted
pretty
to
clear
get
that
him.
they need starting pitching.
Mhm.
Joe Ryan is a guy who's on a team who's clearly not trying to win now. They're trying to rebuild for the future. Or Mackenzie Gore, who's kind of in the same situation. Mets need starting pitching. They have some intriguing young guys, but I just don't know if they're 100% ready yet to field as a top tier contender. But I could see either one of those guys, or I'm not really sure how this would work, but Cody Bellinger potentially, just to be a little bit different. I don't know if he's going to go back to the Yankees or not, or go back to the Dodgers even, but I could see that as a dream for them too. It adds another power bat to their lineup. The back end of their lineup was a little bit underwhelming last year. They traded for Marcus Semien, who's kind of a give it a shot, see if it works type thing. They got rid of Brandon Nimmo, so we'll see. But
And
I
that
could see
opens
Cody
the door.
Bellinger going there too.
And that opens the door for Cody Bellinger. So I like that you took a little bit more of a trade out because that gives all of us some extra options as well. So I'll do my Milwaukee predictions here, right? We'll go to me, then Nazir, Jalen, you got the Cubs, and if there's still time, I'll take the Sox at the end just for geotag purposes. So obviously, my lock prior to Brandon Woodruff taking the qualifying offer would have been Brandon Woodruff coming back to Milwaukee. However, I think a lock that Milwaukee is going to take advantage of, especially considering that they really just need an extra bullpen arm. Like, that's really all they could use, and it's going to be a reunion with Brent Suter. I think that's a lock. Brent Suter's coming off an okay year with the Reds. Nothing special. He was in a pretty low leverage role with them, 48 games on the mound, 4.5 ERA, a whip at 1.3, which is a little high, but Great American Ballpark is definitely a hitter's park. So I could see a one-year deal coming back to Milwaukee, especially for a team that doesn't have a ton of left-handed pitching, especially in the bullpen. They're also losing Jose Quintana and Jordan Montgomery as a free agent. I doubt they bring him back. They have Jared Koenig as their lefty right now. DL Hall, who knows about him with his health, and he might be in the rotation. So that's my lock is Brent Suter coming back to the Brewers. My possibility, my probable, it's a tough one. This is a tough call because the Brewers don't do a lot in free agency. And when they do things, it's not what anyone expects them to do, right? They have a big outfield problem. And I think the probable here is not adding someone, it's trading someone away. And I'm going to go with Garrett Mitchell here. I think they move on from Garrett Mitchell. And this is going to tie into my White Sox team predictions because that is one of mine for the White Sox is Garrett Mitchell. So we'll get to there when we get there. But I think they move on from Garrett Mitchell. He can't stay healthy. There's an outfield log jam. It's time to move on. It's time to cut your losses. I wish him the best, but I'd personally drive him to the airport myself. Right? It's time to move on. No disrespect to Garrett Mitchell, of course. And my dream scenario for the Brewers, my dream free agent signing, and I've been saying it all offseason since free agency started 5 days after the World Series ended, was Bo Bichette. That's my dream for them. The Joey Ortiz experiment is a failure. It really
They're not
is.
going to give up
Now,
on
granted,
it, though, I don't think.
they're never – no, because his glove is so good. His defense is so amazing. Make him a utility guy. Make him a super utility guy. If you still believe in him, move him around everywhere. Let him play 8 of the 9 positions on the field, or really 7 of the 9 because I doubt he can catch. But let him play 7 of the 9 positions on the field as your utility guy. And then that doesn't open the roster for Andrew Monasterio anymore, but that's whatever. Bo Bichette's bat is what this lineup needs. It's exactly what the lineup needs. They can't keep going with a guy hitting 230 with 6 home runs at shortstop. I don't care how good the glove is. You need to add some pop to the lineup. The dream is Bo Bichette. Nazir, Philadelphia Phillies you had, right?
Yeah, man. So I was looking at the roster, man. If anyone, doesn't know, I love the Phillies for some reason. I think their atmosphere, their team is always, their dynamic is just very good. Even though they can't get past the hump, I just love their team. But I'm a Brewers fan at heart, even though I shouldn't love the Phillies. I kind of do. But I was looking at the team, and I think they need like an outfielder or something like that. So I kind of went into that, realm. I think the dream, I'm gonna start off with that one. I think the dream is to get like a Ryan O'Hearn or something like that. I think he made his first All-Star team.
Is he not a first baseman, or am I tripping?
He does both.
He's
He does
first
both.
baseman. He does both. So he can. That's the thing. if you sign Ryan O'Hearn, you get like a 3-1. Okay, you get first base. I think he plays outfield, of course, and then I think he also plays a little bit of DH. So I was thinking of that, and I'm like, well, if you sign him, you kind of 3 birds, 1 stone kind of thing. And I think their top target remains Kyle Schwarber or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But another one, I just think I was also looking at this. Piqued my interest when I was looking online. But Rob Refsnyder is also an outfielder, pretty good one. That I think he can play all 3 outfield positions. So that would be a really good one. It would complement the other outfielders. I think Marsh is back there, especially if what's his name? Who decides to leave? What's his name? Bader. I think his name is.
Oh yeah, Harrison Bader. He's a free agent.
Harrison Bader, I think, should come back.
I think he should come back. That's another.
They
that's
should
another
target
thing, yeah.
him because he had a great second half with them.
Yeah, I think Bader should come back. What's his name? Fucking Refsnyder should come to the team.
Refsnyder, yeah.
Yeah, I think the dream is Ryan O'Hearn, but I think they should re-sign Harrison Bader just because of the second half of the season he had. Obviously, like Chris said, Ryan O'Hearn is the dream, though. I think that's I think what team was he on? The Nationals or something? No, he was on what team was he on?
He got traded from the Orioles to the Padres.
No, Ryan O'Hearn.
You're talking about Refsnyder or O'Hearn?
I'm talking about
O'Hearn. Yeah, he came coming from the Padres.
Okay, yeah. So the Padres were also really good this year, and he was really good for them. So I think O'Hearn should be a great target in the dark for them.
So the dream is O'Hearn, you're saying?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good dream to have. Yeah.
What's your lock? Who are the Phillies guaranteed getting here?
I think they're getting Schwarber, Kyle Schwarber. I think that's their top target right now is what I've been seeing around online. I think that's a lock, but yeah.
I think JT Realmuto could be their lock, and I think Schwarber could be headed elsewhere. They just have so much money already tangled up in other players. I could see him going to to segue into it, I could see him going to Chicago, back to the Cubs, because they have some money to spend.
They need to spend some money. Clearly. Getting beat by little brother and stuff every year now, but different conversation for a different day.
Got anyone else like a probable for them, or is that the Rob Refsnyder?
That was Refsnyder. I think that's a probable. I think that's the probable. The lock is I think they're gonna get Schwarber, and then O'Hearn is the dream.
I like what's going on there. I like what you got. Jalen, the Cubs. Give me a lock, give me a probable, and give me your dream scenario, your dream free agent. You got 3 of them.
I would go probably a lock would probably be, I want to say Ranger Suarez. They've been really in contact with him. I've heard a lot, and a lot of people on MLB Network saying that's a lock or that might be the best option. But I really want Michael King.
I like that.
He got swing and miss stuff. We don't have anybody that really can have that has swing and miss. We have a lot of guys that put stuff in the middle in the field of play. Like I wanted Dylan Cease. I said Dylan Cease was the perfect fit, right? Swing and miss, came up in the Cubs org, but he never actually put the uniform on. So I thought he was probably the best option they could get. I would say my dream. There's 2 dreams really. I would say either Alex Bregman or Kyle Schwarber. Right, Alex Bregman brings that superstar power. He brings power. He's a superstar. Plays really good Gold Glove defense, and Matt Shaw's just not there yet offensively. He's just not there yet offensively. And what Kyle Schwarber could bring would just 50 home runs, maybe 60 at Wrigley, right? Because he already knows Wrigley. He knows fans. He knows the organization he won here, and what a better reunion to be with. Coming off of an MVP season and possibly playing like that in Chicago, giving them the boost that they didn't have with Kyle Tucker at the end of the season, right? You see how good they look with a healthy superstar in their lineup that has pop. We all see that. They were like number 2 in NL, number 2 in baseball. But the minute Kyle Tucker dropped off, they instantly went downhill, and PCA wasn't protected from Kyle Tucker, because he was getting grounding out a lot, and they could just throw the PCA, and that was about it. But I would say my dream would definitely be Kyle Tucker or Alex Bregman.
All right, because we have time, I'm going to do one more just for geotag purposes. The Chicago White Sox. Now, the
Ew.
White Sox, actually, dude, they went from 41 and 121 to 60 and 102. That doesn't sound great because it's not great, but that is a 19-win improvement over 2 seasons, and the young core is starting to come around. All right, they have 3 solid starting options in Davis Martin, Sean Berg, Shane Smith. Drew Thorpe had his struggles. Kai Bush is projected to be in the rotation this year, but he hasn't pitched since 2024, so who knows what he's going to look like. And that's pertaining to my lock. And I think the lock is that they need an extra arm in the rotation because Noah Schultz and Hagen Smith aren't quite ready yet. They think Tanner McDougal is ready, but I could see him a little more out of the pen this year compared to this guy. I think Griffin Canning is who the White Sox are going to target. I think they're going to lock him up, maybe on a 1 year with an option, like a big mutual option attached to it, especially if he performs well. He was solid last year with the Mets. He only pitched in 16 games because of injuries, but 70 strikeouts in 76 innings, not too shabby. That's a little over his career average. 3.77 ERA. The WHIP was kind of high, but he did have a 1 WAR season for only 16 starts. That's pretty solid, and he's only projected about $4 to $5 million. I could see the White Sox 100% getting Griffin Canning just on a 1, maybe 2 year deal, and the second year's an option. Like I said, Noah Schultz just not ready yet. Hagen Smith not ready yet. Noah Schultz really struggled at AAA last year, and Hagen Smith hasn't even seen AAA quite yet. But they're 3 starters in Martin, Burke, and Smith. Add on Griffin Canning and Tanner McDougal, or Griffin Canning and Drew Thorpe, or Tanner McDougal and Drew Thorpe. I think they're going to be solid in the rotation if they can bring in Griffin Canning. The probable I have for them is trading for Garrett Mitchell. And that's the probable for them, simply because Luis Robert is going to be out the door at some point. Brooks Baldwin is meh. Andrew Benintendi is and then they don't really have any outfield depth. Braden Montgomery's coming up. He's going to look pretty nice. But Garrett Mitchell, when he's healthy, you don't just pass out Mike Trout comps to anybody. And that's exactly what Garrett Mitchell was getting out of the draft when he was picked by the Brewers in 2020. And if my memory serves, he is still under team control through the end of the 2028-29, or through the end of the 2028 season. So they'd have an extra 3 years of Garrett Mitchell if they choose to move on from Robert or Andrew Benintendi. So I like Garrett Mitchell as the probable there, and it really depends on if the Brewers are comfortable trading him, which I think they will be. The dream scenario for the White Sox, they need a big bopper in that lineup. Obviously, Andrew Vaughn was very bad for them, but when he got moved to Milwaukee, he turned into one of the best hitters in baseball for a little bit. They have 2 solid catchers in Kyle Teel and Edgar Caro, that one of them could play DH and the other could catch, but you're not going to play those guys every single day each. Plus, they're just not the greatest of hitters quite yet, especially in the power department. Their first base position is really rough, right? Lennon Sosa is currently listed as their first baseman right now, and Miguel Vargas is his backup and as the starting third baseman. They don't have a true corner infielder yet. Miguel Vargas came up as a second baseman. Lennon Sosa came up as a middle infielder. They need corner infield help, or at bare minimum, a DH, and a DH that can hit with potential 20 to 30, even 40 home runs. Obviously, the big super duper dream is Kyle Schwarber. Like we talked about him coming back to Chicago. Maybe he goes back to the South Side, though, instead of going to Wrigleyville. I don't think that happens, though. So I'm not going to say that's my dream. What I am going to say is my dream is a guy who is coming off of an injury-riddled year, who had his position replaced. It's another Brewer in free agency this year. He had his option declined, and he's only due about $7 to $10 million. It's Rhys Hoskins. And I think if Rhys Hoskins wants to turn around his career, go to a place with no pressure. Go to a place that you're not going to feel like you have to be the biggest hitter in the lineup. Go somewhere that you know you're not making the playoffs. Want to turn things around and provide for a fan base that's struggling. Rhys Hoskins with the White Sox on a 2 to 3 year deal, and I think that second or third year is an option, is just the right pick for Rhys Hoskins. And I think the White Sox should jump on that. That's my dream for them. I don't think the White Sox are going to spend a lot of money. They've already said that they want to just build around their young core. They want them to develop. They have a pretty good farm system, but they still don't have any corner infielders in their top 30. So I've got Rhys Hoskins as my dream scenario for the Chicago White Sox.
Reese Hoskins. That's a good. I like that. I like
I
that.
mean,
like
he's
that
good
vision.
for the he's a good vibes guy too. And you need if you're gonna be a young up and coming team, getting a vibes guy is always good.
You need a vet. You need a vet that's going to lead that clubhouse. And at the moment, they don't have that. They have Andrew Benintendi as their lead vet, and he is not that good at baseball anymore. Let's just be for real. Luis Robert's out of there. So I think if they were to bring in Griffin Canning and Garrett Mitchell and Reese Hoskins, the White Sox are probably going to improve by another 10 to 15 wins. And once that core comes up, Braden Colson Montgomery, Chase Mydroth, if he can develop a little bit, and they're going to be pretty good. I think the bullpen is another area they need some work in, though, too. But Jairo Iriarte looks to be their closer of the future as of right now. Maybe they could add a closer as well. Those are just the guys I think they'll bring in. But, yeah, that's our free agent hot stove section here. Appreciate you guys joining along for this. We don't get to talk a lot of baseball a lot, but this is the top one segment of all time.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I think we should do more of that in the future. Of course, now into our final thoughts, guys. Now, listen. I just want to do one quick one, and then Jalen, you go about Lane Kiffin, real quick. LeBron James, I'm sick of you, man. I know I see what you're doing out there. Stat pad and keeping the 10-point streak going. I mean, last night I was watching the game because Devin Booker's on my fantasy team. Then he got hurt with a groin injury or whatever. But I was watching LeBron James. He had one of the worst games I've ever seen out of him, and the guy was just chucking up shots at the end of the game, laughing with the Suns bench. Not even giving a crap about the game anymore. When Luka and Austin Reeves are playing out of their minds the past like 10 games, LeBron comes back and he just stat pads. I mean, it's hard to defend this guy right now, bro. And
I think
you know,
I think it's his retirement tour at this point. Like this is probably it, and I think he knows that.
Why hasn't he announced it? I think that should be announced. Like, hey, LeBron James this is his last year. I mean, he's gonna sit out a few games, so maybe that's why he's not doing it. Because people are gonna pay $300 to go see LeBron James in the final game in their city. But I mean, it's just watching that game is pretty sad. I don't know. LeBron James, you're on my cooked list right now for everything, every sport right now. You're at the top of the list right now. But go ahead, Jalen. You missed a little bit of Lane Kiffin a little bit earlier. I know you wanted to get your opinion on his transfer out of his current situation to LSU.
I was gonna say my final thought was Pat Fitzgerald going to Michigan State, which is I don't know how I feel about that, but
It's all right.
Lane Kiffin I said that he was in the right. I was talking to my dad the other day. He was in the right to do what he did because obviously with the college football calendar, he had no choice but to choose the more money and better opportunity, or stay where he was at. And I don't blame him one bit. So all the people getting on Lane Kiffin around with that, like I said, put him in your shoes. You had a certain timetable within the fiscal year of choosing a different job. Will you go somewhere with better benefits, better opportunity, and opportunity to grow within the company, or would you stay at the place you at? That's how I look at it. Like he's doing what everybody else would do: take the money and have better opportunity elsewhere. And
I said it was a bad look for college football because he's doing it right in the middle of the
college
season.
football because all that NIL stuff, and then
That's what I mean. The transfers and stuff coming in, and now they're going to decommit because maybe they want to be coached by Lane Kiffin. Maybe they want to go to LSU now and be coached by. What I mean? It's just bad look. Like the calendar.
I mean, we're gonna learn
exposed.
through this how much of this was Ole Miss recruiting the players and how much was Lane recruiting the players, because we saw that with James Franklin leaving Penn State. A lot of guys decommitted because they were going there for James Franklin, not because they were going for Penn State. Meanwhile, when Brian Kelly left Notre Dame, nothing changed.
I think the calendar is completely exposed right now, bro.
It sucks because this is the only month that kids can sign. They can't sign after this month. So
because you can't sign during winter break.
Nope.
People got school. People got to go back to school second semester. So you got to know when you're going to transfer or not. So
and
bad luck.
The high school kids can't sign outside of December either because that's past their signing period. But it sucks because that's how college is. But I don't think it's ever going to change because if you do it that way, you're basically saying college sports and college football is bigger than academics. And they'll never fold for that. They'll never fold for that. because they because you just look at because what they're doing is really just a big time school, right? In football standpoint, you never see this in basketball. You never see this in baseball because obviously, they go into the summer. But it only does this in big time power D1 football. And it's basically saying D1 football is higher than academics, and they're never going to fold for that.
Well, NIL and football, college football is the worst. Basketball is a little different because I forget the differences, but I just know it's a huge difference between basketball and baseball, or football and baseball, like he says, in the summer. Hockey, I don't even think they do NIL like that. So it may be a little bit different.
Quarterbacks that are getting paid like $10 million a year to go to Indiana or something along those lines.
Even track and field,
these dudes are making more money than they would be on a rookie contract in the pros. Like,
right?
Why wouldn't you do that?
But yeah, Sam, go ahead with your final thoughts.
I have a shocker here as a final thought. Massive, what people are calling a quote earthquake moment in the SEC. Jared Curtis, the third ranked quarterback in the country, has flipped his commitment from Georgia to Vanderbilt.
Oh my gosh.
Vanderbilt football is finally becoming a household name. It's been a long time coming. Last year's upset over Alabama was just the start. They're now a team that almost snuck into the playoff this year. If a couple more things go their way, Vanderbilt could have been
they still might.
Team.
I'm not saying the dream might not be dead.
And now they're landing the third best quarterback in the country, one of 4 5-star quarterbacks. He just flipped his commitment from Georgia to a hard commit, according to 247 Sports, to Vanderbilt.
That's gross.
Wow.
I like it. I like it, but I don't. We'll see how that works out.
Wow.
Chris, go ahead.
So the Milwaukee Bucks are a train wreck right now. There's no denying that. Giannis deleted all of his social media posts like we showed earlier in the pod. I thought it was over. Like, you can tell, like, the Packers with Aaron Rodgers died the night they lost to the 49ers. That was my thought, and he just kind of stuck around for another season, and it just didn't end up working out. You can always kind of tell, I think, when a dynasty or a run is over, and it felt like at the end of that Indy series last year, the run was over. They've made a lot of wrong decisions in the last couple of years. I think Doc Rivers should be fired. There's no defensive scheme. You
can't
shoot 55% from the field, 55% from three, and lose to the 2-16 Wizards. How is that possible? Without their best player, I may add. Without their best player. Like, how is that possible? Like, you have one of the best players in the NBA on your roster. I don't think the roster is bad enough to how bad they've been playing. I don't think it's a great roster, and that's been exposed this year. Miles Turner has not been good so far.
Oh, my God. It's been so bad.
They've been exposed. Doc Rivers has been exposed. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the league, despite Miles Turner being a decent defender, Giannis being a good defender.
KBJ's pretty good.
Yeah, they have good defenders all up and down the roster.
But he's hurt again now. He looks hurt again now, isn't he?
Back spasm.
A loss like last night, where Giannis seemingly gives up at the end, which has never happened before. I saw this play. Giannis was insisting Doc Rivers challenge. He didn't. Like, it just feels like there's a lot of dysfunction with this team. Giannis is most likely going to be gone at the deadline at this rate because he's not going to want to stick around for a rebuild. Like, it's a complete mess. Doc Rivers has to go. Giannis will probably be gone in a couple months.
You can't fire him. You can't. You're paying 3 coaches right now. You can't fire him.
Also, I just want to point this out. Ever since the Bucks Browns owner Jimmy Haslam acquired stock in this team, everything's gone downhill. Just throwing that out there, not saying there's a correlation.
Oh no, we knew that was going to happen. I think there is a correlation. We knew that was going to happen.
Everything's falling apart. Everything is falling apart.
Why let that happen as an ownership group? Allow someone who has been tearing down a franchise piece by piece for so long. Again, granted in another sport, but still been tearing down a franchise piece by piece for so long to just enter your ownership group and have a major stake in that ownership group. Pull up that comment.
Doc Rivers wasn't the right hire from the get-go. I never thought he was.
No,
he was
never
bad
was.
in Philadelphia.
I agree wholeheartedly with this. I don't think the Bucks are going to give up on Giannis. They've shown time and time again that regardless of them being like the wrong moves in hindsight, at the time they're the right moves. And they go time and time out through every offseason and through every trade deadline to do their best to put the best possible team around Giannis, the most competitive possible team around Giannis, even trading his best friend in Chris Middleton.
That's what I want to get to.
Put the best and most competitive possible product on the court for him to work with and to win with. And time again, they keep losing. It's not the front office's fault. It's the coaching's fault.
I mean, that's what I wanted to get to really quick now. Wait 1 second.
Go ahead.
I think that they actually did a good job in free agency this offseason.
They did.
I think they put pieces around, and it's just Doc Rivers can't get the team to play to the sum of their parts. Like, he doesn't raise the ceiling of this team at all. There's no defensive scheme. Everyone's always confused. Like, if there's a last-second shot, no one knows what to do. Most of the offense is just dinking around, waiting for someone to make a play. There's no schematics. There's no nothing. It's just a complete mess on both sides of the ball.
Look, I understand what you guys are saying, but I think we got to put a little bit of blame on Giannis himself as well. Okay. Now, when I say that, I mean, you wanted Damian Lillard on your team, and the only way you can get him is trade Jrue Holiday. That's one of your best friends as well. Giannis wanted that. Okay. That was never going to work. I said it from the beginning. As soon as we traded for Dame, not going to work. We've seen this before. We've seen high caliber players go play with another high caliber player and not work. It didn't work. Damian Lillard ruined the team because all the money he was bringing in, didn't have a bench. Okay, well, now to your exception, or to your points, they made some good free agency signings this summer. Amazing free. I thought the team was going to be great. I think they still have a chance to be great. But right now, how do you go from defending the NBA Cup to being out the first round, being out the first elimination game? Like you don't even get to go to Vegas now. Like, look, I don't understand why everyone is so hell bent on that. We know Doc Rivers is not a great coach, but they're doing everything possible to get Giannis this team around him. And you can't fire Doc anymore because you fired Adrian Griffin for some reason. I mean, he had the best offense in the league and we fired him.
I mean, different situation.
He never had the locker room. Not
but
once.
I understand that, but he had half a season, barely that. He had the
no,
best
but the
offense
locker
in the
room was
league.
already lost by that point. Firing Adrian Griffin and firing Mike Budenholzer both weren't problems. It's what they did afterwards that was the problem. Doc Rivers was simply not the guy. I wanted Kenny Atkinson the second Bud got fired. They didn't go for him. Correct. They hired Adrian Griffin. Kenny Atkinson goes and wins the frickin' 1 seed with the Cavs. I mean, it's a comedy of errors from that standpoint, especially after Adrian Griffin, you still had a chance to right the ship and they didn't. They hired Doc Rivers, who's barely been above 500 as a coach with the Bucks. They've been bounced easily both times in the first round, injuries, whatever, yada, yada. But they're 9-13 right now. They just lost to the 2-16 Wizards. That should be a fireable offense, in my opinion. This team feels like the Titanic right now.
But Chris, if you fire him, then what are you going to do? If you fire him, who are you going to hire?
Literally anybody else. Literally anybody.
That's not
how
how
he coached the team, dude.
The problem though too still is if you fire Doc, you're paying 4 head coaches.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you're still paying Budenholzer on his buyout. You're still paying all that money to Adrian Griffin
and Dame, by the way.
All that money to Doc
and
we're
still paying
Lillard.
Dame.
You're gonna be paying 5 dudes to be 4 head coaches and 1 player. You can't do it. John Horst, this is the one error that the front office made.
Then start over.
That they have to.
And buy Giannis.
They're going to have to.
I think you have to get rid of Giannis because something has to happen. This isn't working, and that's pretty clear to me. And even in some of their wins, they're eking by. They're eking by against the Hornets, for gosh sakes.
All right, well, Jalen, how are the Jazz doing? I know we've been talking to Bucks. You don't really have an input on it, but how are the Jazz doing? And your Bulls are doing pretty good right now. Josh Giddey's playing.
The Bulls are trash, but the Jazz are actually pretty good for what they have. We lost our best defender, our rim protector, but they just beat the Rockets last night, and they're surprising a lot of people.
Jusuf
Nurkic had I think 15 last night or something like that. But Keontae is something special. He's really grown into his own this year. And Lowry, obviously a superstar player, but Keontae has definitely taken a big step. He's definitely had he was something special last night.
Dude had like 8 turnovers the other day and like 0
Yeah.
points. But
Sunday he had like 8 turnovers, no points.
he had like
no
negative
assists.
13 fantasy points. It was really funny. But how was your Thanksgiving as well? We did you touch on
Pretty
too
good.
much?
I have some of my mom and my sister came down here, so got to spend time with them when they flew down. So it was pretty good. Pretty good.
Did they get caught in the traffic of snow and stuff like that with airports? And I know O'Hare was a mess this weekend.
They flew in the Midway, so
Okay.
they didn't get delayed or anything. But when they got there, they said that if they took the later flight that they thought they were going to do, they would have been delayed by 2 hours. But they got back in safely right as the storm started, so they were
That's good.
perfect. But yeah, my Thanksgiving had to fill with work. I had to work the day before, and I had to work the day after Thanksgiving. So I just had Thanksgiving off, of course. Welcome to pro sports.
Yeah, I guess so. Hey,
No vacations.
no vacation.
Until the summer. We can go anywhere in the summer. So
Shout out everybody for getting on today. Hey, thanks guys for joining us on Strata Sports. We are happy to bring you the sports that you love every week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and sometimes Fridays. We'll get to it eventually. Follow us on Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube. And we will see you guys on Thursday for Thursday Night Football, Lions and Cowboys, I think.
it'll be a
Really
good
good
game
game.
for my fantasy.
Yes, sir. Let's have a good week, boys.